Now, your forecast first. Sponsored by Peyton Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Good Thursday evening and a happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm meteorologist Melissa Thomas, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Ross Whitley. Looking at some temperatures today, we're going to use Apalachicola. It's high today. Whoop, that data is all not accurate. I'm just going to skip through that. The high today was 80. Typically we average 70, so we're 10 degrees warmer than we are normally. And 80 was a record set in Apalachicola in 1985. So we almost broke that record today in Apalachicola. Very warm temperatures. Now in the tropics, we've got areas of spin that have 40% chance of forming in the next 2 to 5 days. Very obvious spin. And another obvious area of spin with 0 to 20% chance of forming. This is all in the Atlantic. None of this is an issue for the Panhandle. We're going to remain tropical weather free in the Gulf and Panhandle for the rest of the season, most likely.
Panhandle residents from all over got into the Thanksgiving spirit today. See how they came together to help others during their time of need. Plus, coronavirus cases are spiking nationwide, and cities across the country are reacting. We'll tell you how they're working to slow down the spread of the disease. And many small businesses have been hard hit during the pandemic, and they may have an unexpected hurdle come tax time. Find out why some are worried about the impacts of their Paycheck Protection Program loans.
Live and Panhandle strong together. This is News 13 at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexia Teropoulos. Amy Hoyt has the evening off. Community members came together this Thanksgiving Day to support and feed one another. Volunteers with Project Feeding Our Homeless and Hungry met today in Panama City to give away food in front of the New Beginnings Assembly of the Saints Church. Michelle Atkins, the project organizer from Port St. Joe, says it's been a vision of hers to help out those in desperate need for 20 years. It was just this year when this dream became a reality. Akins serves the hungry and homeless on the last Saturday of every month, but this month she says it felt right to do so on Thanksgiving Day.
It means the world to me. I mean, it really does. A lot of people, when they see me now, they wouldn't have known that I was once in this particular situation myself. I didn't have to stay outside, but I lived in a car. So I know what it feels like to be homeless and to be hopeless.
Akins makes all the food herself, and she serves it herself as well. She says it took her over a few days to make sure that they had enough to serve over 150 people in the Bay County area. That wasn't the end of generosity in Bay County today. Over in Mackenzie Park, those in need were treated to a Thanksgiving surprise by a local family. Emily Mercier and her family decided to show their community love by giving back. Mercier says her family has been blessed this year and wants to give back. She and her family decided to package rotisserie chicken, stuffing, collard greens, and mac and cheese. They handed it out to those who came by with no questions asked. Mercier says Thanksgiving is supposed to be a day of unity. Seeing grateful smiles from those who got food warmed her heart.
We have a lot. We've been blessed with a lot. We have plenty of food, so I know there's a lot of people out here that don't have food, so that's basically why we decided to come out and be a blessing to others who don't have enough food or don't have a place to stay.
This is the first year Mercier and her family have hosted this food giveaway, but she hopes to make it a tradition. Jackson County firefighters getting into the holiday spirit as well by handing out free Thanksgiving meals. The event started just last year, and they plan to continue the tradition for years to come. It's one that brings their families together in an effort to give back to the community. They had all the traditional fixings, from turkey to rolls to green bean casserole, and Lieutenant Davidson, fire rescue and firefighter paramedic, says all types of people in need came out to eat.
Some people aren't able to have a Thanksgiving dinner always, and some people are older and don't have anybody to cook for them or cook for, so they just come out here with us, and it's nice to give back to the community and stuff like that.
Davidson says most of their union cooks in their kitchen at home, staying up pretty late to prepare their meals. He made a turkey himself actually, and this year he was able to cook it right at the fire station. Those overseas serving our country were able to celebrate well away from their families. Some Air Force members enjoyed a traditional holiday meal with turkey and all the trimmings at their base at an undisclosed location in Southwest Asia. Airman First Class Justin Hemphill helped himself and set up the holiday feast, calling it a really big event that is basically like their Super Bowl. The commander of the 332nd Brigadier General Joe Kunkel was among those dishing out the holiday meal.
I'd just like to say thanks to all of our service members that are deployed and spending their Thanksgiving away from friends and family at home. And I'd also like to give a shout out to our families at home and all the sacrifices they're making over Thanksgiving. I know that having their members here is not where they want to be, but they're doing a great service to our nation. So thank you so much.
Thanksgiving this year looks very different than what we're used to. The pandemic has forced many to stay at home and not travel to protect their loved ones. It's also affecting many businesses with another spike in cases, cities across the country are implementing new restrictions. Nexstar's Nation's Ronald Vilka tells us how they're handling the extra strain on operations.
In Ohio, businesses barely hanging on are preparing to close again.
It's scary, I will admit it. I mean, just opening a business and then having the doors shut in your face, it's devastating.
From Newark, New Jersey to El Paso, Texas,
residents are strongly urged to shelter at home.
But not everyone's cooperating. In fact, far from it. The sheriff in Sacramento County, California says he's not enforcing the state's stay-at-home order.
I have a tremendous amount of faith in folks to make those assessments relative to COVID.
I know this is tough.
The mayor of Denver under fire for urging constituents to stay home, then traveling himself. And the owners of this Staten Island bar declaring Mac's Public House an autonomous zone, telling News Nation the sheriff's office visited last night with a $15,000 citation as restaurant occupancy in New York's orange zones goes from 25% to 0.
It's going to be a different Thanksgiving. It's going to be a tough Thanksgiving, but we still have a lot to be thankful for.
With the hardships of the pandemic, many businesses turn to Paycheck Protection Program loans to get by. And while that extra bit of cash may have helped them stay afloat, some fear it may have hurt them in the long run. News Nation's Lindsay Nadrich explains why tax season could be the biggest hurdle yet.
Many businesses continue to struggle as this pandemic drags on.
We're getting killed in here. It's brutal.
I checked back in with Slabtown barbershop owner Marty Caballero, who got a loan through the Paycheck Protection Program. He says it helped him survive during the initial shutdown.
So I lost 3 months worth of income, and so that helped shore that up a little bit.
But these loans may now mean higher taxes for businesses. Guidance from the IRS and U.S. Department of the Treasury says if the PPP loan is forgiven, businesses can't deduct expenses related to the loan. So this means they can't deduct things like payroll expenses, rent, and utilities.
We're hearing from clients who may have made a different choice had they realized that this was not a truly tax deductible or a tax free situation.
Steve Stegeman with Davis & Graves CPA in Gresham says the guidance goes against what Congress intended when it created this program to help businesses.
And so in doing that, the IRS really created an end around Congress to create a backdoor way of taxing the loans, really.
There is a bill that would change this, but Congress has yet to take action. Marty doesn't have a lot of employees, so he's not worried about the tax implications, but knows others are, and says owing more money come tax time could be detrimental for a business that's barely hanging on as it is.
But being that we haven't had any kind of secondary round of help with the fact that we're on another shutdown, it seems like the least they could do is, okay, well, we'll let you do that as some type of assistance, since doesn't seem like we're getting any other assistance.
I'm Lindsay Nadrich, News Nation, Portland.
Coming up, holiday shopping might look different this year. See how the pandemic is altering how we are gift giving during the holidays.
We have some dense fog expected across the Panhandle tonight and therefore are under a dense fog advisory. See when it lifts next.
Watching News 13 with Tess Rowland. Sports with Emma Stamps. And First Alert meteorologist Melissa Thomas.
Just like everything else, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted this year. Holiday shopping can now be added to that list. ABC's Rena Roy reports on how shopping will be different and has some tips on how to find the best buys.
When it comes to holiday shopping in this year of coronavirus, huge crowds at stores are out and online shopping is definitely in. 60% of shoppers say they plan to do at least some of their holiday shopping from home this year, and 41% say they won't be hitting the stores on Black Friday.
Most retailers are trying to avoid the massive spike of people in their stores. They're trying to move more of their sales and spread the sales piece out over a greater portion of time.
Experts say the hottest items this year are gifts for the home.
Home entertainment, if you think about cooking, if you think about anything for decorating the homes, those categories are all up to a great degree this year.
Before you buy, use a shopping app to check for the best deals on the items you want, especially gifts that are in high demand.
I would just encourage consumers to check across multiple retailers' websites and check through the week. That's probably the best way to see if they can actually get a hold of those high-end demand items.
Buying online can be convenient, but make sure you think about how you will get your packages this holiday season. With shipping delays likely, consider curbside pickup instead of the mail. Either way, retailers want you to buy early this season.
Retailers are really trying to get the orders earlier, as there's a very small window between Black Friday and Christmas, and they want to make sure that their orders are delivered on time and meeting customer expectations.
Finally, to stay within your budget, Consumer Reports recommends making a list of things you want and need and what you want to spend and sticking to it. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Cyber Monday is set to be one of the busiest shopping days of the year, but online shopping can come with some risks. And the Better Business Bureau is warning customers to be on the lookout for misleading advertisements and untrustworthy sellers. Tips include when you see a price for a popular item that seems to be too good to be true, steer clear, it is probably a scam. The Bureau also suggests shoppers keep a close eye on the web addresses in their browsers, as scammers will use lookalike websites that appear to link to a trusted seller, but the website and links actually contain misspellings or faulty contact information. You can also protect yourself from scammers by making sure your antivirus software is up to date on your devices. Also, the Bureau asks shoppers to stay vigilant when it comes to unsolicited texts, emails, or letters or calls. The messages may claim you have a free gift or something happened to your delivery, but that is often at times a common way customers fall for a phishing scam. As always, any business or website suspected of being fraudulent should be reported to the Bureau.
Now, your First Alert Storm Team forecast with meteorologist Melissa Thomas.
The Perrin Young Tower Cam shows a very calm downtown Panama City. We will keep those calm conditions tonight with only very stray shower chances, if any at all. The temperatures are now 66 degrees. That wind is calm. Dew point at 64 degrees, and the calm winds, high dew points is going to lead to a fog across the Panhandle. And I got the data fixed on that almanac. I wanted to pop it up one more time so you could see just how warm we are. Unseasonably warm for this time of year, about 10 degrees higher than average. And these are Apalachicola's numbers. They made a high of 80, which tied their record set back in 1985. So very warm, so close to beating that record today. The live radar shows that across the Panhandle we are clear of the rainfall. We will remain clear throughout the evening, and temperatures in other areas of the Panhandle are 68 in Blountstown, 63 in Mariana, 64 in Defuniak Springs, 66 in Panama City, and 73, a little warmer in Apalachicola. We're going to get down into the mid to upper 60s, so many areas already dipping down to where we're going to remain for the evening ahead, hitting our lows pretty early in the night. The areas of dense fog around, the stray shower, and those winds coming from the south are driving the moisture in for the dense fog that we'll see around. And due to that, we have a dense fog advisory not set to expire until tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central Time. And that will be good news as soon as it lifts right around that time mid-morning. Be careful when you're driving in it. Don't pop your high beams on because that will just affect your field of vision even more worse. And then after the fog lifts in the morning time, we'll have an isolated shower or storm chance in the afternoon. Just a chance, won't be widespread or long-lived if you're caught under one at all. South winds still from the south around 5 miles per hour, and your highs still warm in the mid to upper 70s. If you're nearing the 80 mark, you're about 10 degrees warmer than you are usually this time of year in the Panhandle. Futurecast shows we keep the southerly winds. We'll have cloud coverage, and then moving into the morning time, only a stray shower chance, calm, light and variable winds. And then throughout the day tomorrow, just isolated chances for those showers and possibly a thunderstorm. But then a boundary stalls over our area, and that keeps our weather unsettled through Saturday morning. So Saturday early morning into the mid-morning time frame, still seeing these scattered showers across the Panhandle. Here's the boundary as well. You can see it's evident with the northerly winds and these southerly winds. Big picture, moving beyond Saturday, Sunday morning, we're going to have a setup that this warm front sector is going to lift up through the Panhandle, and that is going to help drive in ingredients that are conducive for possibly severe weather when this cold front then starts to make its way across the Panhandle overnight Sunday into very early Monday morning. Now, it's not guaranteed that we'll see severe weather, but we are monitoring for it because of that setup. You're going to want to pay attention, get some updates across the weekend, and remain weather aware in case a severe weather threat does come to fruition Sunday night. But then on the back end of that, we have a burst of Arctic air that zooms down and even brings us very, very, very chilly temperatures for the Panhandle. We're about 10 degrees warmer than we are usually this time of year. Early next week, we're going to be 10 to 15 cooler than we are this time of year. Big swings. Coastal Week Ahead shows that. We have the unsettled weather through Sunday night. Go ahead and download the Storm Track 13 apps if you already haven't to stay weather aware in case that severe weather event does come to fruition. And then on the back end of that, clear sunny skies, crisp wintry weather. Look at those highs only in the 40s on Tuesday for your inland areas, and those lows, some spots in the inland areas are going to even struggle to get out of the upper 20s probably.
So Melissa, does this mean Christmas is slowly approaching?
It's going to feel like it. It's very, very good timing that this cold weather is moving in and around December 1st. Nice timing.
Perfect. I can't wait to bring out those jackets and Christmas decorations as well.
Oh, yes, yes. All right, well, time now for our weather radio contest of the day, sponsored by Bay Automotive.
Congratulations to Stacy Beckwith of Liberty County. Stacy, you can come pick up your weather radio at our News 13 studios in Panama City, 613 Harrison Avenue during regular business hours. For your chance to win our weather radio contest, you can register on our My Panhandle mobile app. Bay Area high school football teams are making their final preparations as the playoffs continue.
3 area teams still fighting for those state titles, and they are all getting to play at home tomorrow night. I'll tell you who's going to take the field in region finals next in sports.
Time now for News 13 Sports with Emma Stamps.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a great Thanksgiving, and now you can look ahead to the high school football playoff action happening tomorrow night. A few area teams remain in their respective FHSAA state playoffs. First, in Class 1A, the Vernon Yellow Jackets will host the undefeated Baker Gators tomorrow night. They're glad to have this game at home because Baker, no easy opponent, and Vernon knows it. The Gators have knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Last year, the Jackets fell by just 1 point to Baker. But this is a special season for Vernon. Head coach Gerald Trinkle has been with the program for 4 years, so this is the playoff run he and the senior Jackets have been looking to since they were freshmen. Said to be a great game over in Washington County. And in Jackson County, another Class 1A region final game is happening. Snead's also getting home field advantage as they host Taylor County. The Pirates getting a big win over Blountstown last week, reaching their goal of playing on Thanksgiving week and making it to this point in the playoffs for the first time in program history, something they've come close to doing over the past several years.
It's just special. Everybody else is on Thanksgiving holiday, and our kids are still getting to enjoy some time with their family, but we get to meet together every day. We get to practice and move on for the goal. And we're the only show in town for, and that just makes it different, makes it neat.
The winner of those 2 games will meet in the state semifinals, so there's a chance we could have 2 area teams in the Final Four of the Class 1A playoffs. And jumping to Class 4A now, Mariana will welcome in Gadsden County for their region final. It's the first time the Bulldogs have reached this point in the playoffs in 20 years. Head coach John Donaldson telling me yesterday he's proud for his school and community. To hear from him and some of those senior Bulldogs, head to our website, mypanhandle.com, for that full story. Into college football now, the Florida State football team continuing to prepare for its game against Virginia, set for Saturday night. The Noles will be back in Doak Campbell Stadium for the matchup. This week has been, of course, filled with a lot of back and forth with Clemson after Saturday's last-minute postponement. However, after yesterday's practice, head coach Mike Norvell said his team had better energy than it did on Tuesday. They practiced this morning as well and followed it with a team Thanksgiving lunch. They'll need to be disciplined on Saturday, taking on Virginia, a team that makes very few mistakes.
It's critical, and it's something that we've hit on throughout the course of the year, and it's something that we're working to do a better job, as I have seen improvements as the year has gone on with our guys. The awareness that we've cut down on the some of the foolish penalties, and even though we've still have had some that have showed up and in opportune times, that's something that's going to be big in this game.
Kickoff in Tallahassee set for 7 Central on Saturday, but you can catch great ACC football action actually tomorrow right here on ABC. Undefeated Notre Dame going to take on North Carolina tomorrow at 2:30 right here again on ABC.
It'll be interesting to see if they can hold on to that undefeated title, Emma.
Yes, it will.
Thanks, Emma. And coming up, we have cupping season is upon us. We'll tell you how COVID-19 is affecting it and what it even is to begin with. Cuffing season runs from October to March. It's a period of time where singles look for a significant other to take home for the holidays. Next Star Nation's Carmen Rose explains how weather may influence our dating lives and the role COVID-19 plays this year.
'Tis the season to cuff.
When I think about cuffing season, I think about when the weather cools down and you want to just cuddle up in blankets. So I think it's the time where you find someone that you really like and you kind of like hibernate for a little bit.
While colder temperatures encourage snuggling and staying inside, licensed professional counselor Christina Allen says holiday pressure plays a part.
When you look at entertainment, you look at social media, it's just really taken off that I need to have somebody for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's Day.
And dating apps like Bumble back this up.
What we also do very much see is between the period of, November or end of October, early November through kind of early January, we see a lot of users really getting excited about finding, someone to spend the season with.
This year, dating apps saw an increase in user activity apart from cuffing season.
We've had a record-setting past few months, and it's really due to the pandemic. People are on more often. There's increasing in messages. We've actually had a 40% increase in people sending messages on the platform. So July was busier than Valentine's Day.
Rachel D'Alto is Match's chief dating expert.
People are really intentional of what they're looking for. They're intentional about their dating. 58% of daters have shifted towards intentional dating. 53% are actually looking for relationships now. And they're having more meaningful conversations and they're being more honest with each other. So there's definitely been a shift towards that intentionality and realness, which is pretty awesome.
An open conversation can help better protect you before cozying up to a cuffing partner.
I think it's fair to ask if you've been exposed to COVID or live with anyone or know someone that has been exposed recently.
And for your mental health, making those connections may last longer than the cold.
A study of the dating app Hinge found more than 2/3 of users are thinking more about who they're really looking for since the pandemic started in March. Melissa, do you have that problem?
My sweetheart is a medic in the Army National Guard, so my problem is actually him having to go work COVID a couple times this year on his different duty sessions. So that's my cuffing and COVID entanglements. But I'm going to step out of the scene here real quick so everybody can get a good look at the 7-day coastal week ahead. There is plenty of different weather on this board. We have had relatively calm, stable, sunny days for a couple weeks now, and the weather has returned. We keep the isolated to scattered rain showers through Saturday, ramping up on Sunday with the possibility of a severe weather threat. So keep your Storm Track 13 radar apps close by on Sunday into the Sunday night over hours. And it's very similar for your inland week ahead, but after the severe weathers or just unsettled weather Sunday night, moving in early Monday morning makes an exit. Look at how those temperatures crash. We get down into the 30s in some areas, in the inland areas may struggle to get out of the 20s even. Very, very cold temperatures. Back to you.
Thank you so much for ending your Thanksgiving night with us. Thank you so much.